This is recorded, so don't worry about any flubs. I can take it down if you want to restate something. Go right ahead.
Thank you, Ron.
If you need to cough, go ahead and take it out.
Yeah.
The dog barks. I'm sorry.
Do you want Canada to dry on that?
It's not. Well, it's not in this show.
Okay.
So,
All right, here we go. Listo.
Let me,
can you get in there good?
Ready? Ready?
Uh-huh.
Let's butter this cornbread.
Well, hello there. You're listening to the OffBeat Business Show. Thank you so much for tuning in during your valuable lunch hour. We are thrilled to have you here, and we're thrilled to bring you the types of information that really cause you to shine in everything that you do in business, but also a successful life in business. Because if we're not having a successful life, what on earth good is it? So we represent you, America. We represent the 80% of American small to micro to small businesses that tend to be family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less. That means we're building our business while we're raising our kids, taking care of our parents. We probably have a veteran in our family or workspace, and 30% of us have an addict in our family or workspace. That means business focus is very different today, and all legislation directly impacts us. Criminal justice, taxation, Veterans Administration, healthcare, all of these things now matter, and it's never been more important for us to get involved and be very strong with what we're doing in business so we can make a difference in the very communities that we want to serve. And so with that vein, I'd like to introduce you to Sir Earl Toon of Kool and the Gang. How you doing, sir?
hey, girl, I'm so happy to be here, Susan.
Hey, I am so thrilled that you're sharing the things that you're doing here in the DFW area.
Yes.
It's a very, very exciting time.
It is.
To be just involved in the needs of the community. And when you told me the other day on the phone, and if I can get you to be into our microphone just a little bit more,
Okay,
that
yes.
might be helpful. There you
How
go.
about that? How about that?
Thank you. But you know, you told me that you got out of a meeting and you learned that there were 5,000 homeless kids in DISD.
Yes, yes. And maybe 3,500 in the area of Dallas and so, but around the Metroplex. And believe you me, it's truly more than that, because some kids don't want others to know, and families. So they do whatever they can. Some of these are unbelievably hardworking people that were a paycheck or 2 paychecks away from losing their home. And so, and the kids, even at times if they can be at a family's house and so, where they're not with mom and dad, and or if they're in one of those places that extended stay, it's hard on them. The learning is one thing, and to be able to have food and so is another, but also to have clothes, and especially when the winter months come. It's hard, and a lot of them don't have coats, and so that's why we started Give a Kid a Coat.
I think that's so important. I think it's fantastic. And I believe you are a great example of someone who's using his business and his position of influence to actually make a difference in the community that you serve. We're very grateful for you here. You're well known in the area for having championed some of these causes and bringing people together. I noticed when I looked at your website what a great job you do of bringing businesses together to support these needs, and that's exactly what we need to be able to do.
And but that's what it's all about, because a lot of times people forget that it's bigger than all of us, certain things. And at one time I was trying to do it myself, and with the help of Miss Carla Harrell. She was the one that saw the little girl walking down the street going to school, shivering in a little jacket, like a fleece jacket. And when she called me and said, "You're not going to believe this," but she was going to school. I'm like, "Are you sure?" And she says, "Well, why don't you go to," and then I says, "Look," and I was busy, says, and I promise you, she says, "Believe you me, if you would have seen this little girl, I know that you would be there." So I said to her, I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, let me know what the place is, and we'll do that together. I'll go there together." And we did. We met the principal, and when the principal said that, "Sir Earl, it's so many kids just like that in this school, and in other schools." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I can't tell you. I'm telling you that there's a lot of kids that came out, and we don't know what to do, and I just don't." I'm like, "Are you serious?" So we took the ball on buying coats, and I think we bought something like almost 200. I want to say 3, but so I won't exaggerate. I'll say around 200. But when you're buying coats, and even though you're trying to get them you know, I mean, but I wanted good coats. It was no need for me to get a coat that was $10 or $15 that was raggedy old that the kids wouldn't want to wear, or that it would not keep them warm. So of course we're talking about $50, $60. It was kind of like, I gotta do this another way. So what we did with Give a Kid a Coat, that's what I named it. Give, because they have one called a coat, something for kids, you know. But I had to change it around. When we give a kid a coat, not just a coat, but be it mittens, be it socks, be it gloves, be it giving them something that they could feel really good about, and so that it won't seem as though, well, you got this from some sort of store. No, it makes no difference, because all the kids is out there, be it that's Macy's, Burlington, be it that it's, I could name some of the other ones, they do what they can to help organizations. But a lot of times it's just not enough. And it doesn't go to those that truly need it.
I think you raised an excellent point, Sir Toon, that just because you give a kid a coat doesn't mean they're going to wear it. They do have their own social stigmas. They do have their own comfort levels of what's fashionable, and you know, there's a serious truth to that. I raised 5 kids, and there were times when we did beans and rice for a week. You know, I think everybody goes through that at some point in their life. But they still, if I didn't have things that were within something that made them feel socially acceptable, they would, not see the value.
And it's not because, and not to interrupt you, but right there, it's not because they don't love you. Right. It's not because they don't trust you, and it's not they don't think that you may have good taste or not. The bottom line is their kids looking at them and saying, "What is that?" I mean, how many times have even you or myself or anyone that have been given something, went to school, you took it off before you got to school, but when you went home, you put it back on. Believe me, there's some kids would rather walk in to school and have their coat in their hands, and so it won't look like, somebody could rag on them. You understand? And talk to them or talk down to them. And kids have feelings. You have no idea, but yes, you do. Because in order for us to be where we are in life, in order for us to be able to live a life so that we can have kids, we have to be one. Mm-hmm. So let's not forget that. Mm-hmm. So when I say give a kid a coat, if it's not brand new, it's used, but if it's used, it's lightly used and it's clean and it's so still cool that it's like, wow, where did you get that? Mm-hmm. Hey, my mom and my dad. That's what it is, because we have to represent those that, and again, we're talking about not people also that not doing anything. There are some unbelievable good folk around the country. I don't care if they're Republican, Democrat, left wing, right wing. I don't care if they're rich, and some of them that's supposed to be having money. You have no idea what they go through. There was a family, I believe, in L.A. that, what you mean, living in a mansion? Not knowing how they had to eat and survive, but trying to keep up, if you will, with that particular style of living. This is real. These things are real, but it's not the kids' fault. But it's also not the parents' fault. Circumstances. It makes no difference what religion you are, what country you come from. If you're here, you're in America, you're in the United States, guess what? We got to give you love. And if your kid need a coat, I'm going to do everything what I can do to give it to them. Be it this city, this tri-state area, well, I'm thinking of New York now, Metroplex, excuse me, but be it the region, be it the state, be it the country. I'm just saying, not for just my give a kid a coat, any place that there is in your community, as far as this can go, that can hear my voice, be it the church, be it outside of the church, outside of the synagogue, outside of the center, outside of the chapel, outside of anything that you can, just a regular community center. See what you can do to help those that are in need. That's all I'm asking.
I think it's interesting, if you don't mind, for me to talk just a little bit to the fact that you come into this as a person of faith. You have been exposed to that in your life for many generations, your family. You know full well the power of prayer and how it can make this huge difference. And when people come together and they see this need, we are often being directed through prayer for how to meet that need before a challenge ever comes. So we have this opportunity right now to get ready for cold weather, get ready for these kids that could end up on the street that we don't even know. If there's something that's urging you on in the heart to get out there and compel us to start paying attention to the needs of these kids, especially when it comes to warmth and fashionability. You'd think that's silly. It's really, really not. Being fashionable is hugely important, especially to these young kids, and we may not like it, but for crying out loud, that's what it is. And it is important to come in at that space. So, you know, what happens if we don't? What happens if we don't? What happens if we don't doesn't mean that God did not care for these children. What happened if we don't means that that word came out here, we should have acted on it, and we didn't. That says a whole lot about our community and how we truly are willing to be united, especially, as you mentioned, after such a disunifying election. You know, we have an opportunity now to be united in these types of things, in these efforts. Do we really mean it? Do we really mean we care for these kids?
Absolutely.
Really mean it?
If you not only, to me, and I say this respectfully, and I hope I don't get no flack for this, but I gotta say it. Our president-elect, Trump, is our president-elect. We got to do everything that we can to help him, to help others. We have to pray for him, even if we feel that he is wrong, and a lot do feel that he may not be as far as the popular vote. But guess what? The bottom line is that in America, in the United States of America, there's a way that we do things. Until that way is changed, we should be all for one and one for all. And there are times that, like a game, guess what? Dallas won yesterday.
Show enough, Dallas won.
Dallas won. And who did they beat? Who did they beat?
Yeah,
Who did they beat? Was it Pittsburgh? Who? It was Pittsburgh, the Steelers. You know what? I have friends. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I'm a Brooklyn bouncing baby boy. The Giants, the Jets. I go back with Joe Namath back in the day when he was so cool. He was like Pimp Daddy #5. Okay, what I'm saying? I mean, I have. You talking about Joe Montana? Oh my God, to love Joe Montana. Matter of fact, the Washington Redskins, the first black quarterback, what was his name? Williams, the Doug Williams that won. I'm saying, but guess what? Each and every one of those teams at one time has lost. And like last night, Ben did all he could do, but it wasn't good enough to beat Dallas. You don't think that that town or that city don't feel a little let down? But guess what? They picked themselves back up, and next week they're back on it again, because it's all for one and one for all. Now, why can't we do that in this country? Do you think that the Cleveland Cavaliers? Did you know I did the halftime show for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they wanted me to sing my songs. I did Get Down on It, Ladies Night, Celebration. All in 7 minutes. We had a wonderful time. Do you not think they won? They won the championship when everyone thought that they would not. You think the other team that had the greatest record, if you will, outside the Bulls, to lose the championship, you think that city wasn't feeling bad? They lost. Well, guess what? Look at this. Not as a game because it's real, but our president now, Trump, do what we can, all that we can, to help him, to help our elders, our children, our veterans, our homeless, our battered women, our bullet kids, our special need kids, our planet.
And that happens so, I really believe the strength of prayer and the strength of this country getting behind that can make this huge difference. It's the only time I've ever seen anything successful and positive happen in this world. It's the only time I've seen business success really be successful, because it's not enough just to have money, is it? We need our relationships to be whole. We need to have our head on straight when it comes to our health and our relationships. That complete shalom, that means everything. Nothing missing, nothing broken.
I know that is. Absolutely.
And so we can have that. We can have that in our nation. Just because it looks pretty wicked out there doesn't mean our light don't get to shine.
You know, there are some of us that know others that are, one would say respectfully, like billionaires, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and some, let's just say for instance, they're very, very, very wealthy. Now, why would they, people ask, why would they commit suicide?
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, I'm telling you right now, if they had someone to pray for them, pray with them, and to be well wishes and to chant with them, and to and that's why I said, regardless of what religion you are or where you come from or where you are in life, to know that you're not alone. You're not alone. And we as a country, we're not alone. And as much as we have that divides us, one would say, that's united we stand and divided we fall. We have things that truly we have so similar than we can ever realize.
And these things are distractions, quite honestly, because we got work to do.
There you go.
We got work to do. We got things that need to be happening out there, and if we can put our emphasis and our energy where it belongs, we're not going to have these significant needs out there. Those significant needs that everybody's crying about are because there are not enough hands and not enough money to get things done. Well, your business can do that. Your business can be a part of what makes a difference in this space.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason that it can't. If you say that you don't have the time and you don't have the money to participate, I want you to consider how important it is today, especially for this particular demographic, to have processes in place that make it easier for you to make that money, to rethink profitability in your family business. Rethink it. If you're not willing to stretch in this space, it's a very, very dangerous time for you and for the rest of the community. But I agree with Mr. Sir Earl Toon here that we can make a difference when we decide that we're willing to look at things differently. We're willing to update our thought processes, our business processes, so that we can be available. We have this huge, huge need for the money and the time and the influence that you as a business owner here in America can make a difference in if you'll stand in that space. And join with us. We don't have to have kids out there that are hungry, missing clothes, laying on the streets. Now, we got a serious, rebellious group of young people out there these days. We do. And we know it. But they also need the type of guidance that keeps them out of jail. Because this is a very predatory environment for these rebellious kids.
Absolutely.
So if we can start realizing that this busyness of doing business without profitability is costing us in all these areas. We can't afford it. We've got to start figuring out how to make money with these companies to the degree that we can now make a difference with that excess of time and that excess money.
Susan, you couldn't have said it no better, but something you just gave me when you were speaking. How about if we, with our business and our businesses, incorporate inside of that to make it our business?
Yes, sir. It is our business.
To make it our business, to uplift through ourselves, through the need of support. Not, in other words, I always say it's not just about me. It's about me loving and sharing with others and giving unto others. Because if I can do that with you and make that my business to do that, and through my business and personally do that, and you see that I'm successful and I feel good, and even if someone says, well, this guy is making really money over here, he can do this, but you'd be surprised. My mom died when I was 4 years old and my grandmother raised me. My grandmother didn't have it, but what she had was the true love of God, truly. And my aunties and them became like my big sisters and so, and my sister Tanya, and my sister Contessa, and my brother Cedric. It was almost as though like, are you kidding me? The love that we had was just so amazing that I didn't even realize that I was one of the ones that really didn't have.
Isn't that nice? Yeah.
Because they made it their business to support and uplift and do whatever it took without hurting anyone, harming anyone, to steal, kill, lie, and so, because, not getting on a religious tip, but that's what the enemy does. He's there to steal, kill, and destroy, and not just the body. We're talking about steal, kill, and destroy relationships, fathers against sons, mothers against daughters, brothers against brothers, sisters against sisters, friends against friends. That if he could just destroy the relationship between us, I wouldn't be here now.
Sir, you cannot talk about giving without talking about how it matters, because, and that's why I would say it really doesn't matter if you have everything that you could do it yourself. That's not the point, and that's not how the kingdom works. Because if your business is giving on a regular basis, that does come back to you. That's how you grow. That's the angle here that you need to understand. Not participating is not an option. So it really doesn't matter what your personal resources are, Sir Toon.
That's right.
It matters that you're giving all of these people opportunities to give, which increases everything they do.
Ooh,
that's
girl.
a huge, huge part of it.
Remember the old woman that everybody went to Jesus and gave them all big sums of money, and so the only thing that she had was, let's say for instance, I'm exaggerating, was if all that she had was 5 cents, she gave that.
Mm-hmm.
She gave all that she had. And remember he said that she gave the most? Woo!
Her life has changed. They don't talk about that, but that woman did not remain broke.
she gave them, the guys that could have given him $1 million a day, I'm okay. I mean, it's not about me exaggerating. If you read the Bible in some way that I don't know where it is, but I promise you, you'll find this story that this lady came, and what they asked of this lady, it was like she didn't give nothing. He said, "Are you serious?" She gave more. She gave the most. Sometimes if you just give of your time, if you can help volunteer someplace, become a big brother, a big sister, be against that which is hurting our kids, taking them even to slavery, our young girls, and kidnapping them. Even young mothers that you see that need help or support from being hurt and harmed. Look, I'm sorry. There's just so many things that and you know what's so easy about it? If we get together and talk about it, we won't get the answers just like this, and we will see things differently. Look, some people may say this glass is half empty. Some other people will say this glass is half full. How about this? Let's just look at the glass.
It's refillable.
Let's start from there.
Yes.
And let's look. Help Miss Hamilton. The things that she's trying to inspire you, her followers, and those that maybe are seeing her for the first time. There's certain things that you may say, well, I don't know, but even those things will help you to cross that bridge, to be a part of what she wants to do, because it's all about knowledge. See, I'm ignorant to the fact of piloting an airplane. I'm ignorant to that fact. I don't know how. It's not like I can't be taught, but there's a lot of things that we don't know. And what I'm asking you to, for the brand of Sir Earl Toon and what I'm doing in my company, YMO Enterprises, which stands for Yours, Mine, and Ours, but yours first, God's, mine, and ours, is to truly give a kid a coat, and you can go to giveakidAcoat.org, but also Susan Hamilton. Tell them the name of where to go, please.
They can find all our information at offbeatbusiness.com. You can find our lineup, our replays, our magazine, download our app so you can get this information right on your phone. It's very, very important because Sir Earl Toon here is going to be doing a huge, huge fundraiser for Give a Kid a Coat, and you're going to get to hear him carry on and sing all those classics, and it's going to be a good time. You know, I don't know about you, but my husband and I are still grooving to this stuff in the kitchen. As a matter of fact, when we remodeled the kitchen, we did it just so we'd have enough space on the floor to dance, because we enjoy it so much, and we love your music. God.
So that means when I come to your house, I can I can do that. Celebrate good times. Come on.
And you can do
unbelievable.
It's just wherever you go, you are bringing the groove. You are getting people moving and celebrating, because that's what this life is really all about. We can make this huge difference in that mode of joy, unity, laughing, dancing, singing. There's so much power in that.
Girl, let me tell you, it's only because of God's grace. And again, I say this a lot when I say I'm not a religious fanatic, because it's not about religion.
Right.
It's truly about that which is the spirit in which I know the prayers of others and well wishes have brought me through. So by His grace, and Him even taking my mother when I was young, because by His grace, His favor, and His anointing me to do what I do in blessings, I'm the one that is humbled, I'm grateful, and I'm honored that I can make people get up and dance and have a good time. And the next day, just wake up and call somebody and say, oh, you should have been there. Woo! We had a yahoo of a good time. Believe me, I'm telling you. And still, when I wrote that, celebrate good times, come on. We're going to celebrate your party with you celebration. When I wrote those lyrics and that melody was over 30.
Don't mention the time frame.
Yeah, it's over 30 years ago. But guess what?
Well,
still today, but because of everyone
Yeah.
in this room and every one of you out there, this year, 2016, because of you, I have been inducted into the 2016 Grammy Hall of Fame. Thank you. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I
That's
thank
so
you guys.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've really got an amazing history. And we're going to take a break, and when we get back, actually,
we don't want
we've
no
been talking
break.
all through this.
Oh,
what
we
we're
don't
going
want
to do
no
is
break.
we've got so much to cover.
No, Susan, not now.
We're going to
please.
talk about this in 2 segments, okay? So we'll be right back. With that. You'll find all of these. You can listen one after
We
another
love
when
you
you get to
guys.
podcasts. But we're going to talk some more about Sir Earl Toon's history and what he brings to the table with the background he's got. Do a little name dropping for us.
Oh my gosh! You mean some of the people that I've met in my life, or you mean
You've worked with some amazing people.
Yes. Well, I tell you what. The only one little thing, but no, I don't regret, because when Marvin Gaye wanted me to come on the road with him, I couldn't leave Otis Blackwell at the time at the Brill Building, 1619 Broadway. And that was before Kool and the Gang, Count Basie, Duke Ellington, Lionel Hampton. I used to go get donuts and lox, cream cheese and lox, and bagels and lox, and coffee for rehearsals. Let me stop. It's like,
okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to come right back for our very next show, and we're going to continue talking about this. I hope he baited you well. So know that right now we need you to go to giveakitacoat.org, and you're going to find that information.
And Facebook too.
And on Facebook,
Yes.
We're going to have this information and the links underneath this video, and we'll also have that on the podcast page when this comes out. So you'll be able to get all this information if you did not write it down right now. But I know you're enjoying this conversation, and we've got more of this to come, so tune in for our very next episode. And while we continue talking a little bit about the history here that Sir Earl Toon brings to the table, from Kool and the Gang and all of his experiences with the Marvin Gaye, and this is exciting. Kind of trip down memory lane. It's a wonderful time to do it. I love to do that during holiday season, especially. Until then, friends, remember, you can find our lineup, you can find our replays, podcast, download our app so that you can get all this on your phone. You can our magazine, our member directory. Find out how we can support your small business with a very powerful message that gets you using digital marketing strategies today, which if you're not doing, it's a very dangerous spot to play in. So go to offbeatbusiness.com and find out more. Until next time, Susan Hamilton, the OffBeat Business Show with Sir Earl Toon.
Woo! December 11th.